But, Georgia was another one of those states that, just wasn't, in the view of NATO, a candidate for membership, even though Georgia was a very strong member of the alliance that went into Afghanistan and acquitted itself very well. So then, fast forward, when Putin basically grabs Crimea in 2014 and the other parts of Ukraine, as you mentioned, again, people were like, well, what are we supposed to do about it? And then there was all this equivocation about how do we respond. The idea that there was a security agreement which had been entered in, as Bill said, when he was president and Ukraine gave up its nuclear weapons, was kind of overlooked, pushed to the side. And I think it empowered Putin. I think it made him feel that that old Leninist, aphorism, push with the scalpel as far as you can until you hit bone. I think his attitude was, well, there's no bone there, and I'm going to keep pushing. And then he got his dreams fulfilled when Trump was elected, and I believe that if Trump had been reelected, Putin would have waited for Trump to do what he said he was intending to do, which was to pull us out of NATO. And that would have created such a vacuum that invading Ukraine, which he thought was going to be easy anyway, would be a fait accompli. So dealing with Putin, I always believed, required you not to wear rose-colored glasses. I mean, he was someone who was very focused in a strictly utilitarian way about how to achieve his personal objectives, number one, which included, a huge amount of wealth transferred from oligarchs whom he permitted to do business, and his identity with Russia. My personal dealings with him, I think you can assume from history, were less than friendly. And he, decided that he didn't want to face me as president, so he did all the things we now know he did that are well cataloged. But the bottom line is, this is the first time since he's been in power, with the unified response of NATO, with the unified response to sanctions going beyond NATO. As Bill likes to say, when was the last time you heard of Switzerland putting on sanctions? This is the first time he has been held accountable for anything. And it is past time, but it is essential that we hold him to account and do everything we can to make him pay a price, and frankly, to be defeated, however we can define that in realistic terms, because of this grotesque adventure of his. So I think that the Biden administration, Wendy Sherman is here. I think that the president and his top team have done an absolutely excellent job uniting our alliance, going beyond the alliance, imposing sanctions, and we just have to keep our nerve and keep going, because there is no other alternative in you facing somebody like that.
As you might imagine, that fairly captures the substance of my last telephone conversation with Madeline. We can't lose. Madeline, General Mattis, and Hillary all said the same thing. We can't lose if we're going to do this. You've got to stay with them all the way to the end.